So let's get up with really why we've arrived here today. And with this part of the talk, what we need to do is we need to go way, way back and understand the skill sets that humanity utilized and prioritized over the era, like sort of our history and where it's actually going. And so for 10,000 years over the agricultural era, for 500 generations plus minus, we had very simple rules to follow. And the rules that we had to follow were follow your forefathers, follow the seasons, and work the fields for up to 16 hours a day, depending if you're harvesting or not. And Bob's your uncle, you'll be a successful person. You don't have to think, you don't have to be analytical, you don't have to get an MBA, you don't have to have Excel spreadsheet. Just follow what your dad told you to do, shut up, work the fields, make babies, and that's it. That was your life. Simple. 10,000 years. We built civilization based on a very simple set of rules. 200 years ago, before I get to 200 years ago, the most important thing we had over the agricultural era was our muscles, our physicality, our PQ. If you were literally not strong enough to work, you literally died. That was kind of a simple equation. So it was very clear what was the most important thing we had. But then 200 years ago, when the Industrial Revolution arrived and we started to see new sources of power like the steam engine, combustion engine, all these new sort of technological breakthroughs that happened in the 1700s, we start to realize the rules change. And the rules that I'm going to explain to you now are the rules that we're still following today. 200 years old, not really relevant in a world that we're moving into and moving forward at hyper pace into. And so the rules went from follow your forefathers to follow the system. And the system was education, organizational structures, religion, marriage, all these structures that were introduced to us, and we conformed to these structures. The better you conform, the more you'd be celebrated. That's why you get around the world people drinking a bottle of whiskey on Ritalin, and God forbid they touch a joint. It's like ridiculous. Think about that. It's like we've been conformed into thinking in X and Y and judging anything that doesn't sit inside our understanding of what's right and wrong. And so follow the system became the new rule that we had to follow. And then it became develop your analytical, logical thinking and increase your sort of knowledge base. Become addicted to certainty and work towards that certainty and that outcome. Don't worry about having fun on the way. That's irrelevant. Just make sure that you reach that goal at the end. And so we've developed this society that doesn't give a rat's, I don't know what I was going to say. Anyway, doesn't give a shit about how you get there. They just want you to get there. And we can see this because EY, just last year, got fined $100 million because they got found cheating on their ethical exams. EY. I mean, I love EY. I think they're EY amazing. It's highly embarrassing that you're cheating on ethical exams. Why? Because the world doesn't care about how you do it. You just want an outcome. And so many cheating, so many fake degrees. It's irrelevant. That's what's happened in our society. And also, what would happen over this period of time is if you become an accountant, you would further study to become a better accountant, better accountant, better accountant. You wouldn't now branch out and do other things. You're an accountant for life. And that was kind of the way you went with it. The most important thing that we had over the last 200 years was our IQ, our intelligence quotient, the left brain process of analytical thinking. The better you were at this, the more successful you become in life. And the truth is, I was terrible at this. That's why I got expelled from school. My left brain doesn't engage. I'm all right brain. And in fact, I call my PA my left brain because I don't think like that. And so I was terrible at school. And shows you that school was built only for about 25 to 30% of the human population. The rest of us had to squeeze ourselves into that system that they had created. As we start to evolve now into the quantum era, we realize that the rules again are changing. And this is what's causing massive panic because remember, from agricultural era to the industrial, there's massive panic because all the things that you've done for 10,000 years, you weren't being prized for anymore. And we've just been doing this for 200 years, but we are so short-sighted that we think this is it. No, you know, anything in the future is too advanced. Anything in the past, they were just doff. We must just keep it exactly like it is because this is where I'm comfortable. And so it doesn't make sense. You know, like if you're driving on the highway and somebody's driving slower than you, what do you think of them? What an idiot. What's he doing? Why is he going so slow? And anybody that zooms past you is the absolute danger to all of society. Who's driving this perfect speed? You. Nobody else is driving the perfect speed. This is exactly how we think about the future. We think our time is what it needs to be. I don't want to evolve forward. Definitely not going backwards. So let's understand how the rules change because it went from following the system to now following your uniqueness. And if you were too unique at school, what were you called? Naughty. No time for uniqueness here. Fit in, or I wasn't going to say it. You can finish the sentence. And so we realized that the rules have changed. And so who here has children? Just show of hands. Kids? How many of your kids want to be influencers? Yeah? Okay, you see all those laughs? Yeah, those laughs are, it's no offense, Those laughs are scoffs at the idiotic sort of idea of being influencers. Maybe not, but many parents around the world are like, oh, waste your time. Go and study. Go and get that textbook from 1983 and study it, because that's what we need to do, and that's my comfort zone. And so we realize that actually uniqueness becomes our currency of the future, something we were never prized for at school in any way. And also we move from this addiction to certainty, this logical and analytical thinking, to dynamic, creative, adaptable thinking, which is exactly the opposite. Our brains don't even know how to do this. We have to retrain our brains to understand how to become dynamic and creative. In fact, none of us are really spontaneous. We think we're spontaneous. Our dating statuses might say stay spontaneous, but really you're not. You're addicted to certainty. You want to make sure, exactly, tick boxing, make sure the person that you're dating is right. And then ultimately, and finally, in this period of time, it's all about agility and working with small teams in and out, becoming really good at your EQ to really understand how to evolve and engage with people on many different levels.